The president has, we're told, relieved two individuals, the heads of Ashanti as far as government structure is concerned, minister and deputy, of their positions. And we just got this from the news wires this morning. Already we know that issues had been brewing up within the party. I know that it's his party, but I want you to start
that's his party, and fortunately for him too, he's a deputy chief whip, so perhaps he has some information that we do not.
All right, so you would want him to start?
If he can, maybe he has some information for all of us.
He doesn't have. He's
a chief whip, very powerful.
Okay, so start for me, Mr.
Oh, I have no problem starting with it. I think the Constitution has given the president the power to appoint and fire. And clearly speaking, we all followed activities in the Ashanti region. And if you look at the role of a regional minister, I think you are the head of the chairman for the regional security committee in the region. So if you are heading a region, you and your deputy, and currently there seems to be a lot of confusion in the region. Clearly speaking, there is no way the president can keep his mouth shut and say that you should be there because of A or B. Your main responsibility is to maintain law, peace, and order. So if there is no law, peace, and order in that particular region, clearly speaking, you are not delivering to the expectation of whoever appointed you. So some of us were not surprised. And sometimes this one should go on, because the Constitution says clearly.
What should go on? You mean the relieving of people from their duties?
Not, if you are not performing to the expectation of the appointing authority.
So you're saying you are not performing?
Exactly. Because you are the chairman of Regional Security Committee, and there is chaos or confusion or law breakdown of law and order in your region. Clearly speaking, the president cannot sit here and look at you. You remember it started between the regional minister and his deputy. The Constitution clearly says that in appointing deputy regional ministers, the president does it in consultation with the regional ministers themselves. So if all those things went on and you are the chairman, you are the regional minister, and you are the deputy, and you come together, meanwhile, there were a lot of things that took place before you came to power, and you seem not to agree with each other. Clearly, if you don't see eye to eye with each other, the Bible even says that can two walk together except they agree with each other.
I mean, it's okay.
So if there's no that agreement,
I love your analysis. Your position is deputy, majority, chief whip.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
And truly, you said you had a lot of insight.
Unfortunately.
You said you didn't have, but gradually things started coming up. But what does it say about administrative leadership for the region? Because Ashanti is a very sensitive region.
I am very sad. Very sad today.
Why?
Did you hear him?
Yeah, I
said
heard
perhaps.
what he said.
He did not even say perhaps. He was
emphatic.
Yes. That there's problem, there's war, sort of, in Ashanti.
He said he'd been following the issues. And,
yes.
He didn't say war.
He said there's what? Confusion. That is where he brought in the head of national security, head in charge of security issues, regional security, and what have you. Is there any problem in Ashanti region? When two NDC full soldiers, factions, are fighting, you take that to be a regional security issue? Do they know the line between party issues and national issues? They confuse the two. No wonder we are where we find ourselves where we are. They think when everything is right within NDC, then the whole country can go to bed, forgetting that NDC is just a subset.
So are you saying that this then warrants even the ministers being relieved of their position?
That is the president's prerogative.
Okay.
But if it is because they cannot contain warring factions within the NDC, but they are delivering, should that be the basis for their dismissal? When Nana Oyelita and her deputies were fighting, were they fired? Are you therefore surprised that for 3 years we've been subjected to this doomsday phenomenon, and the Minister for Energy is still at post because it is not affecting NDC fortunes? You see, you look at all these things put together and you wonder whether the president is really there to govern this nation, or he's just there to seek to the interests of NDC. I'm surprised.
Clearly speaking, I'm surprised the terms my brother is using. You see, Ashanti region is a very peaceful region.
Yes.
We all know.
And there's no problem there.
And clearly speaking, you see, you
when
cannot,
you can't locked up by some
brother.
full soldiers. It doesn't mean Ashanti region is on fire. Please.
When was the party office locked?
But if Yamin group and the regional ministers group are fighting one another because of position,
you've been in government before, and you know, like the constitution clearly states that before appointing a deputy regional minister, you consult a minister and his deputy.
So
you
why
consult
was
the minister. That I'm coming. That I want them to be your deputy. Who do you think that is fit for being your deputy? So if it happens that the deputy has his group and the minister has his group, and you are saying we should maintain it, no matter, it can start from NDC party, like you rightly say. I may not have problem with that.
Is that what the situation was? The deputy had his group.
I mean, that's what he's saying. He said that
no, he didn't say that.
He said that it was NDC groups, that the regional minister and his deputy minister's group that were worried. It wasn't the entire Ashanti region. And I'm saying that, be that as it may, should that one be allowed to happen? No, clearly no. And you and I know that if you start even, that may be the first step. If you start that one to control, do you know where it will end up?
I'm just saying, by the same logic, then both Nana Oyelita and her deputy should have been sacked.
Yes, sir. This is a regional security chairman.
It is not regional security issue.
Regional security
it was
chairman.
A party issue.
No, it was not purely a party.
It was.
But you say, I mean, inside, you are not inside, you don't know much.
No,
okay.
And you seem to know much.
Yesterday, the PPP, they convened a press conference, and they identified corruption as the #1 enemy of progress, growth and development in Ghana. All right. And following that very meeting, we have a number of issues already being raised. There's a particular human interest story I want to say. For example, at Kolebu, they need $250,000 to bring to Ghana facilities that would enable tumor patients who have been operated on to be cared after surgery. And Kolebu doesn't have the money. They have to fall on the Ministry of Health. They also don't have enough funding. But somewhere at Bost, an accountant is able to swindle a state company to the tune of over 1 million Ghana cedis. And is it that we have a state of uncontrollable or controllable purses that are just free for everybody to loot? I have to start with you, sir.
Well, sorry. Unfortunately, we have a state whose leader is not competent enough to manage our resources. Otherwise, even if I'm to use the two examples you're talking about, you have one essential sector under your watch. People are dying. I'm even told this equipment was donated free to the country.
And we're just supposed to bring it in.
To bring it here. And we can raise 250,000.
And already, the Ministry of Health, they exceeded their budget. By 8 million Ghana cedis, we're told.
Yes.
The Ghana Health Service.
If you go in there and do proper analysis, a lot of them go into the payment of
malfeasance of some
exactly
8 million Ghana.
And then we have another agency under state control, also having loose funds for others to loot because of lack of controls.
For example.
A whole lot of rot going on. Look at how much GMPC spend on football.
But that's for the football. Football
yes,
football is a good sport.
But I can bet you, Rura,
there's a lot of social leverage.
Exactly. But if you should go out there and conduct a survey and ask Ghanaians between spending that much on football and perhaps reducing whatever was spent there by just that 250,000 to take care of this equipment, I mean, everybody would have voted for.
So a matter of priority.
It's a matter of priority. And that is where your competence comes to play.
You think that's linked to leadership?
Exactly.
Why?
If you have a president who cares about the welfare of his citizens, he would have known this. In fact, this is not the first time this story has come out. People have been talking about it, especially this Ashanti regional chairman of MPP. I've heard him on several platforms talk about this very issue. The first time he saw this at US, there was a call, I think, to one of your sister stations also, and he was complaining bitterly about it, that he has gone there, he's seen the equipment that has been donated to this country, but for the state to bring it down here, the Ghana embassy in US also came to confirm that yes, these equipments are there. 2.5 years or 2 years down the lane, the equipment is rotting up there while our citizens die here. Yet we look at the funds we give to RLG, SADA, Shuba, and JIDA, and what have you. So if we call the competence of the purse holder into question, I'm not sure we are out of order.
Yeah, brother, I think it is not today that corruption is identified as the bane of
so it should go on.
Africa's underdevelopment.
A good justification for you?
No. I'm not justifying corruption. Okay. I want to explain why corruption should not be entertained or tolerated in any way. And I don't think the president is as incompetent as my brother has put it, that the inability of the health minister, or Kolebu as it is called, to bring this machine costing $250-something thousand dollars, not millions, so $250-something thousand dollars into the country, should just go to battle to explain the point that the president is incompetent because he cannot raise $250,000 to go and bring this machine. Clearly speaking, if you go to the health sector, just last week when the president himself came, we all saw what is happening in the health sector. And that is why it is more worrying to me for a president who will come to parliament to say, I'm building Rich Hospital, Legon Teaching Hospital, Kumasi Military Hospital, Tepa Hospital, so why, to give you millions of dollars that is invested into the health sector. Then you need $250,000. You can't, or cannot just be dependent on the president like that.
Okay.
Clearly speaking.
Let me ask you. You want to build polyclinics. Polyclinics that have not been built yet, but you have a facility that's deteriorating somewhere, donated to you by the Walter Reed Hospital in the US, which cost $10 million. But you want to build a new facility for which you already have a facility that needs this very facility for immediate attention. Which one will you prioritize?
If you had allowed me to learn, Roland, you wouldn't have even asked this question. When you go to Kolebu, assuming Kolebu, as they've already been saying that Kolebu is an autonomous institution, in IGF in Kolebu alone for 2.5 years, are we saying cannot be raised to go and bring this machine? Sometimes
the board approved vehicles to be bought, luxury vehicles I should say, because if you buy whatever it is, whether it's VW or BMW, it's still an expensive vehicle. What did the president do about it? What did the president do about it?
Is the president a member of the board? That is where our problem comes in.
That's not a nice response.
If you expect, is the president, you clearly know, Roland.
It's not a suitable response from
That's why there's a saying that brought in the corner where you are.
And ultimately, who takes responsibility for somebody not bright in the corner?
Kolebu as it is should be able to raise their internally generated fund.
And so as a result of that, nobody takes the leadership.
Just take this one and say that, oh, the president is it. The president should be mandate with 600 million for this one, 300 million for this hospital, 400 million for this hospital, but 250,000. Oh, Roland, can't Kolebu raise that one to go and bring it for 2.5 years? And you know the amount of money, the IGF, that it will help Kolebu to increase their IGF too. So we need this kind of changes to be done in those places. But you can't just carry everything and go and say that the president is incompetent.
So you are saying blaming the president is wrong.
So you are a media
but the president appoints the health minister. The health minister, through his or her consultation, constitutes the board of Kolebu. The board decides to approve for itself purchase of vehicles in excess of this very amount we're talking about.
That would be a misplaced priority.
Good.
That would be a misplaced.
So at the end of the day, when you link the chain, who is to be blamed?
Now that this one has come, and that is where it's going to give. You know, some of those things, when the media expose them, it is not in the bad motive that they're exposing them. So this information is going to enable the president to act decisively on that.
Well, people may have died already. So it means that supervision is wrong.
Supervision is not wrong. That's why there's a board.
You are here.
And you know what happens. You know what happens in Kolebu board. We don't have the time. Kolebu board, you know what happens.
We've had in the studio Ahmed Ibrahim, Member of Parliament for Banda constituency. He's a member of the NDC as well. And thanks for joining me, Ahmed. And also Benjamin Kofiaye is a Member of Parliament for Upper Dintra West. And thanks for joining me, sir. And that will be it for the AM show this morning. And we say thank you very much for your messages on our social network pages and on Facebook. We have Joy News on TV and also a handle on Twitter, Joy News on TV. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.